All right, I think we're out live on YouTube. Let's see.
Yep, it says we're good. The
Okay,
recording's paused though. Okay.
Except on YouTube, we've only got Julie.
Oh, you got to put it on the gallery, not the speaker view.
I'm trying, I can hear the,
That's on your computer. I don't have it up, so
what did I do?
you have to go to YouTube and mute it.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Yep, but you still have to change YouTube to speaker view.
You want speaker
I'm
view
sorry,
or gallery?
gallery view rather than speaker view.
Gallery? How do you do that? I don't know how to do that.
Just on your computer, hit gallery,
In the-
upper right-hand corner.
Got it?
Now we've got to wait 30 seconds on YouTube because there's a 30-second delay.
I think we're recording.
Yeah, you're recording.
Okay, okay. What time is it?
6 o'clock.
Oh, exactly. Okay. All right, so it's 6 o'clock and I call this Board of Selectmen's meeting to order. We'll start with the approval of minutes. We have 2 minutes, the May 12th and the May 18th special meeting that need approving.
I have read the minutes and I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Okay, and I'll second that. All in favor to approve the May 12th and May 18th special minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Abstained?
I abstained.
Okay.
I didn't read the minutes.
And opposed? All right, hearing none, they pass. Citizens' comments? I received one. I'm going to read it, and then we can respond. Okay, it's from Robert Pettit. I don't know his address. Hello, I looked over the budget and I feel in this unprecedented time this country is going through, there are areas that should be looked at again and removed from this budget. Number one, all raises in the budget, unless agreed on through contract, should be cut from the budget. There are people laid off, people lost jobs, and some that have had salary cuts due to this pandemic. People are struggling to pay bills now because of what they have lost in hours and salary. I would think it would be asking, I wouldn't think it would be asking too much for town employees to not take a raise at these times. Number two, with very low snowfall last year, the town had to save a lot of money taking care of the roads. While the money needs to be in the budget, you must have some that was not spent last year, yet the cost is still the same this year, $80,000. Should be $80,000 minus the amount you didn't use last year to bring it back to the 80K. A, this is the same as the school budget. One, electricity has cost less since no one has been in schools for past 3 months or more. Heating, cooling, and electric had to be less. Number two, the cost of the bus aids and the gas for the buses. The town had to save a lot there too. This also could help offset costs. Number three, I see there is money in the budget for educational expenses, conferences and such. This money should be removed from the budget this year. Under multiple areas, this shows up. A, there are no conferences going on at this time and very well may not be for the rest of the year. Why is this cost in the budget? Looking at it quick, there is close to, if not more than $8,000 for this line item. Number four, the Board of Selectmen. A, reimbursable expenses at $2,500. What is this that you are asking to be reimbursed for? You have online meetings and also pull a salary. I do not see why you would need this in the budget, since again, no one is traveling, should not need gas, overnight expenses, or conference reimbursed. Plus, you already have money for conferences, so there should be no reimbursement for that anyway. B, Memorial Day expenses. $1,700 should be carried from last year since there was nothing happening this year, so the Memorial Day line should be 0. Number 5, capital improvement. Again, because of the times, these have to be looked at. Is it imperative that we as a town do any capital improvement this year? The need really has to outweigh the want. The plow truck, the library roof, and the SBA replacement for the fire department equals $162,817 should be pushed off for one more year and see how Volantown taxpayers are going to come out of COVID-19. My suggestions are not against anyone or the jobs they are doing. We have all been forced to make sacrifices due to COVID-19. Being on the Board of Selectmen is never easy position, but one you choose to take on. Some decisions are hard, but the right thing to do in these unprecedented times this town, state, and county is going through is to really tighten the belt, help out the citizens, and remove some of these expenses. The budget this year should not be flatlined, same as last year, but in reality, because of some of the savings for snow, school, and busing, it should come in less than last year. Thank you for your time, and I truly hope you consider these suggestions for Volantown taxpayers. Bob Pettit. Okay, so for point 1 about raises, there were no cost of living increase this year for employees. So we did that. What is suggested we've done. And
Tracy, the raises that did happen were required per contract.
Yep. So that one we already did. For number 2, with the snow budget, we did have a lot of, just because we didn't have snow, we did have a lot of ice and other storms that we used money for. We also used that money that was left over to fill up our sand and salt for next year. So we did use that ahead of time. We don't know what the weather's going to be like next year. And whatever we don't use rolls back, or we use it to buy ahead for the next year for the salt and sand.
And Tracy, and the snow budget is still very underfunded. It should be
Right.
about $130,000 to $150,000 a year. We were budgeting that back 8 years ago, and the costs have only gone up since then.
And then the school questions I can leave for Adam or Kate to answer. If you want me to ask them, read them again, I can. Or if you remember what they were.
Kate, do you want me to?
Go for it.
Okay, go for it, Adam.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute, okay.
There you go. You're
Am I
good.
okay now? You can hear me?
Yep.
Yes. With the budget that we presented, for an analysis of 4 budgets shows we have a 0% increase budget. And we have absorbed any increases by reduction in staff and faculty members over a 4-year period. So therefore, we're looking at ways that we can reduce the increases, and there is no increase for next year. We have contracts that we need to honor, and to not honor a contract means that you open yourself up for some future negotiations. It's better to allow the contracts to remain in place. Now, the increases in the teacher contract has been very little because we've had some retirements and other things. So a good example of that is a few years ago, we had raises, and the total raises were only $7,000 more than what was budgeted in 4 years ago. So we have been consistently reducing contracts. As far as the conferences are concerned, there is some contractual language, and we must honor a negotiated contract unless you want to open up the contract and rebargain some of the things that are existing in the contract. Yes, we're looking at oil, electricity, and other savings. And as we go through the end of the year balances, perhaps we can return some funds to the town. I'm not sure how much at this point, but again, over the last 4 budgets that we've looked at, the average increase each year was minus $3,900 and something dollars. So we've been trying to maintain and help the mill rate and help the local taxpayer.
Okay, thank you. Question 3 was about the educational expenses. Those are they're in different line items of the budget, like the tax collector, the tax assistant assessor, the town clerk. I think they're in a couple of them, and those are to keep them up to their requirements for the state. And whatever isn't used for that is rolled over. It goes into the undesignated fund at the end of the year. So if those classes, a lot of those are online and stuff, but we still have to pay for them. And whatever isn't used will go back into the undesignated fund. The same with the conferences. Some of them are, even if they are online, they're still used. They could have the opportunity to still have to pay for them. And if they're not used, again, it'll roll over into the undesignated fund. For the Board of Expenses, for our reimbursable expenses, we only get that if we use it. So that would be like mileage. It doesn't go towards conferences, and we don't have anything. We've never had any overnights or anything. So that's usually gas mileage to back and forth to Hartford, which has been fabulous, not having to do, I could say for myself. So if that's not used again, it'll go into the undesignated fund next year. And the way for the Memorial Day expenses, the way that a government budget works is different than a business or personal budget. The money that we use doesn't roll over to next year's budget. So not using the Memorial Day money this year, we can't just roll it over. It's expenses per year. I don't know if I explained that right, but that's how that works. So we have to, any anticipated expense is put forward into the next budget.
And any money that is not spent in the current year goes into the general fund, or sorry, the undesignated fund for next year.
Right. So to go towards capital improvements. Because the next question was about capital improvements, which is not part of the mill rate. It is an appropriation that we make from the money that's in the undesignated fund. And the whole point of a capital improvement is to put money towards future expenses that we know that are coming, so that we have, like, we do need a roof, and not paying for it, not putting money aside for it now is just gonna hurt us in the future for not having the money. And the SCBA replacements for the fire department, those are necessities that they need for their job, for saving us. So that is something that we are committed to paying for. And the plow truck is also something that we need to plow our roads. So those, I think I covered all of the suggestions. I don't know if anyone else has anything on them. Okay. So we have correspondence and announcements. If someone wants to make a motion to move those after the votes on the budget.
I make a motion that we move
I have a lot.
announcements to the end of the meeting after
Okay.
discussion.
I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded to move the regular meeting correspondence and announcements to after the budgets votes. All in favor say.
We can move it to after new business. So
Okay, after new business. Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, hearing none, we'll move it to that. All right, so the next on the agenda is to appropriate the funds necessary for the Board of Selectmen's budget for the fiscal year 2020-2021 in the amount of $2,016,393.
I make
And-
that motion.
I second.
Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded to approve the necessary funds for the fiscal year 2021 Board of Selectmen's budget. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that passes. All right, so the next on the agenda is to appropriate the funds necessary for the Board of Education budget for the fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $6,785,196.
I'll make a motion as such.
Seconded.
So motion's been made and seconded to appropriate the funds for the Board of Education budget. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that passes. The next item is to appropriate the funds necessary for the capital projects budget for the fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $162,817 from the unassigned fund or the undesignated fund. All in favor, say aye.
I got to make a motion first.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I make that motion.
I second the motion.
All right, so the motion's been, I'm looking at autopilot. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, it passes. All right, the next item on the agenda is to set the rate and collection period for the fiscal year 2021, which would be, since all of the budgets passed, would be 29.21,
Which is a 0% increase.
0% increase, yes.
I make the motion that we,
I'll second it.
All right, so the motion's been made and seconded for a mill rate of 29.21, which is a zero increase. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Okay.
Tracy, I
Yeah.
just want to make a quick statement here.
Yeah.
Because this is going out on YouTube and we don't know who will be watching this when. And I just want to make sure that anyone from the town who's watching this understands that even though we went through, it seems like we went through this fairly quickly. There was a series of meetings on both the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Education to get to what we got to here. And there was opportunity for citizens to provide comments and attend some of those meetings before the COVID-19 lockdown, because I believe we started discussion before any of the lockdown started. So even though it may appear that we've gone through this very quickly, there was still the full deliberative process behind this and a very big effort by the Board of Education and the Board of Selectmen to get to the 0% increase and the budget for 2020, 2021.
Right, and to get public feedback as well. So thank you.
Yes.
Can I add a comment to what Skip was mentioning? The Board of Education did not put in any capital improvement projects for next year for the town. And at their last meeting, they reduced the budget to 0% in recognition that we might be able to get to a no mill increase. And as I mentioned before, our budget increases have been very little, if a minus over the last four budgets, including this one. And I might add that our budget is actually less than it was a few years ago. So we've been trying to adhere to cost saving activities. And I do think that the things that we're doing right now with this budget may help us with the 21-22 budget. And again, trying to keep increases to a minimum, if not look for savings in some areas.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on to new business. We have tax refunds. I was given some recommendations for tax refunds from the tax collector. I have 166 Bailey Pond Road, 139 Shetucket Turnpike, 269 Nature's Campground, and 40 Nature's Campground, all requesting from the tax collector for refunds.
I make a motion, we refund as requested by the tax collector.
I second the motion.
Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded to refund as suggested by the tax collector. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. The refunds are approved. Next on the agenda, we have driveway permits. Ron went and inspected, and we would see where, I'm asking Ron if it's okay to release the funds for 75 Gardner Road and 181 Condon Road, because Ron did the inspections.
Condon Road I looked at, that one's fine. The one on Gardner Road, I have still not been up there. It's done because I talked to one of the town workers, lives across the street. I will probably take a look at that one tomorrow. And I did look at the one too that we have on Bennett Circle, Jim Lavoie, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, we
and
saw
that
that
one is
one, we
fine.
weren't sure. Okay, so
But-
it's fine
but
to
what-
release the funds for Lavoie and Condon Road, and pending your approval, we can release them for Gardner Road.
Yes,
Okay. So we have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All right, so the motion's been made and seconded to release the funds for Lavoie on Bennett Road, 181 Congdon Road, and pending the outcome, they would be released for 75 Gardner Road if approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yep, good.
Yes, aye. Sorry.
Okay.
I did say aye.
I'm sorry.
I heard him.
I'm sorry. Okay, opposed, hearing none, the funds will be released. Next on the agenda, we have the Congdon Road bid award. We had Boundaries help us put together the bid package for the drainage easement on Congdon Road. We received several bids, and Boundaries recommends Gear Construction Co. For this contracted sum of $11,610. So we need to award the bid.
I make a motion that we award a bid to Gear Brothers.
Gear Construction.
Gear Construction. Yeah, it's Gear Brothers, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Seconded.
All right, so the motion's been made and seconded to award the Congdon Road easement and drainage project to Gear Construction Co. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, the bid's awarded to Gear Construction Co. All right, the Help America Vote Act. This is really, it's probably like 3 or 4 pages long, so I'm gonna summarize unless you want me to read it.
Please summarize.
Yes.
It's a grant put forward by the Secretary of State's office to the registrar's office to cover the cost of a computer for the registrar's office that is securely linked to the statewide voter registration system. The grants are awarded for up to $3,000. This, it's written like a resolution, but it gives me the power as of the first selectman to do all the stuff required for the grant, to sign for it and everything. And this is like I said, this is a grant through the Secretary of State's office for up to $3,000 for a computer for the registrar to hook up to the state system.
I make a motion that we accept Tracy to fill out the paperwork and whatever's necessary, give her the power to do it
Okay.
for this grant.
Seconded. The grant is going to do, it's going to help us. It's money we don't have to spend to get another computer for the registrar's office. and
Right,
hook it up. So,
okay. So all in favor to support the application and put me as the designee signer for it, for I forgot what the name of the grant was called. Oh, the
Help
Help
America
America
Vote
Vote grant. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, hearing none, that's approved as well. So the last thing that we have is correspondence and announcements. So I'm going to start with the Connecticut State Police report for the month of April. There were 46 calls for service, 2 criminal investigations, 1 larceny, 38 non-reportable matters, 1 DUI, 2 traffic citations, and 4 written notices. I received a notice from the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection for us to pick our Coordinated Medical Emergency Direction, our CMED designation. We've always used American Ambulance, so I reassigned it to, or kept it with American Ambulance for the upcoming fiscal year 2021.
Good.
I received an email from Val Moore, who lives at 15 North Shore Road, about her concerns for the speeding on North Shore Road and her suggestions to put the speed bumps back up, to get a radar speed sign, have a sobriety checkpoint at the corner of Forge Hill and North Shore. There was some questions about the beach, and she was wondering why there wasn't a porta potty and a trash can there yet. And I let her know that the town doesn't do that until we have the lease, our lease is in effect for the beach, which is June 15th, pending the decision from the state. And wondering if we could get a better patrol of the area. So I sent her note back to her, giving her an update on the beach status and why the speed bumps were taken out in the first place. And the state police and NCON do patrol that area, but because it's a town road, it's hard for them to enforce the speed on it. So there was that. I received several emails from residents on Beach Pond about activity going on the private property on the back side of the pond where the woods are. There's been a lot of concern with forest fires over there. The fire department's been called over there multiple times. So the emails are from Diane and Bob Sanson and Craig, the Sansons, Craig, and trying to see if anyone else, Craig Pernarda. I think they're the ones in the email. They sent some suggestions for the improvement of the area, eliminating publicly launched jet skis, post speed limit and horsepower signs, post signs in the coves, increase the patrol on the pond, find the violators. They brought out some points about the boat launch, extending their riprap, the fires on the private property, the launch sites that are too oversized for the small body, too many people and causing, because there's 2 launch sites, and the access 24/7 causes concern, and the traffic to and from down North Shore Road, and the unruliness of the, I'm summarizing, if anyone wants to read it, it'll be at the town hall, and the weeds. So these are emails that have been going to myself and to NCON and DEP and DEM. as everyone's working on the, how to get control over there. It's been worse this year because of everything being closed. So I think that's all I have for correspondence and announcements. Do you guys have anything?
Nope, the only thing I'd like you to do is that Mr. Pettit, if you can
Yes.
email him and give him my phone number. I'd like to talk with him, and
Okay.
he can call me. Best time is 7 in the morning or 8 at night,
Okay.
and I will make an appointment with him.
Yep, I'm also going to respond to the email with the answers that I said today too. So I'll include your phone number too. Okay.
Good. All right, make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
Okay, so a motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. Did
everyone.
excellent job.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone who dialed in.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.